What's good, y'all? JoseVI back here again with another video. Today we finna react to tomorrow's teachings, y'all. The fuck? I said tomorrow's teachings. Today we finna I react to two tomorrow's teachings for me to say that shit. Today we finna react to YouTube's darkest videos, y'all. Now, if y'all be on the channel and shit, y'all know usually when I be reacting to videos and shit, it be like funny videos and shit. Like I just said, tomorrow's teachings, fucking other shit. But now we reacting to some scary shit, y'all. I guess this video about like what they say, like some crazy shit that be on YouTube and shit. But yeah, let's go and hop into the video and see what's gonna happen, y'all. The video contains scenes, topics include damn.
It's December 4th, 2003.
I'm gonna go try to get them to stop doing that.
A police officer walking in a local park in Arlington, Virginia, is approached by a concerned family, claiming that someone in a nearby neighborhood had been shooting off a flare gun. The officer could hear it too, and following the sound, he eventually found himself at the home of 56-year-old James Yoo. The man lived alone in his half of his duplex, and was described by neighbors as a recluse, known to exhibit unusual behavior. Across his social media, he made posts claiming that he was the victim of fraud at the hands of all sorts of government agencies, as he had a deep distrust of the US government as well as law enforcement, and he believed that numerous people were attempting to kill him, like his ex-wife, the FBI, and even his neighbors. His posts seemed entirely nonsensical, and so did many of his actions. In the months prior, he had covered up all of his windows with garbage bags and aluminum foil, and he even wrapped his trees in toilet paper. And though these actions are entirely harmless, on this day, things were becoming far more troubling. When police arrived at his home, Yoo would be seen firing his flare gun out of his window and into the air, over and over again, and despite repeated attempts to get him to stop.
Arlington County Police! Stop shooting the flares! Mr. Yoo!
He didn't let up, shooting 41 flares in the span of just 25 minutes. And he did it all with no explanation. In fact, he didn't even say a single word. Understandably, police were eager to get Yoo out of his home for questioning, as at this point it wasn't obvious whether or not he was a threat. And so for hours and hours they called out to him, first asking and then demanding that he exit his home.
James, Arlington Police, come to the front door with your hands up. Do it now. We have your building surrounded.
But still, there was no response. Growing impatient and worried that Yoo might be planning something, the police would eventually bring in a specialized vehicle to bust down the door and spray the inside of the home with gas, all in an attempt to draw Yoo outside.
James, stay away from your front door. Stay away from your front door, James.
Damn, they just straight that nigga though. I didn't even know they could do that shit.
Again. Only this time, he wasn't using flares.
He started blicking up their car.
And instead, he was now yielding an actual gun. Thankfully, none of these shots connected, but with the situation becoming increasingly dangerous, the officers decided to fall back.
How the fuck you miss an entire truck that's in front of you, half of your entire house?
Quickly came up with a new plan for apprehending Yoo, though whatever they had been planning would never come to fruition.
Did he die?
Yeah.
What's going on? Oh! Wait! That nigga caused a whole ass explosion? Oh! Oh! They bombed the entire damn house! Wait! What the fuck? Oh my god!
In a split second, the home was gone, as a massive explosion rang out from inside the house, reducing the entire structure to rubble. Inside the house, Yoo had stored 55 gallons of gasoline in his basement,
55?!
which he saved for that moment to ignite with no warning.
What was this nigga hiding?
No explanation. Based on the footage, it's been theorized that Yoo's actions were an attempt to lure police into his home so that he could then set off this explosion and take them all out along with his
And nobody died but him?
He believed that both parties were conspiring to kill him. Though somehow, when the smoke cleared, no civilians or police officers had so much as been injured. All that was found in the rubble was the remnants of a single body. Though for a moment, this wasn't the end of James Yoo's story.
Nigga,
Before
what?
that body could be identified, reports across social media began emerging showing that James Yoo was somehow still alive.
Nigga, huh? Is this nigga immortal? Nigga survived the whole last explosion? Nigga, Mr.
After the blast,
Fantastic?
comments were being made on what appeared to be Yoo's YouTube channel, where he stated that this whole thing was a cover-up and that he wasn't even inside the home when the standoff started, which, looking back, we never actually see him, and we also never hear his voice.
What the
Numerous
fuck?
posts pointing out this development would go viral and cause mass confusion about the story, which was only heightened when it was revealed that the body inside that building was in fact James Yoo.
Oh.
Though in the end, it wasn't really as mysterious as some originally thought.
I about to say, how the fuck that nigga survive a whole ass explosion that put this nigga house to the floor in a second?
As it turns out, the post showing these comments failed to realize that this wasn't actually Yoo's account.
So he got hacked?
Instead, it had a completely different username, with the account likely having been created as nothing more than a hoax. To this day, though, there are some that still believe that this was all some sort of massive cover-up. But in reality, it just seems that this was the result of a man gripped by crippling paranoia and loneliness, with it all coming to a head in what has gone on to
that nigga caused a whole ass explosion, and it's, nigga, if I ever was in the next house and I'm sleeping, all of a sudden I hear a big ass boom go off, and when I look out, it's a whole ass explosion going on, bro. I don't even know what I think, bro. What the fuck? And nobody got hurt besides this nigga. Nothing happened to nobody. Everybody left with no scratch, no nothing besides him.
One of YouTube's darkest videos.
Dreamspace 2006.
There was really nothing else like it. This obscure 27,000 square foot structure allowed visitors to enter into what must have felt like another dimension. It was an exhibit called Dreamspace. It was the creation of British artist Maurice Agus, a 74-year-old artistic visionary obsessed with the idea of creating large-scale surreal environments. And this was his magnum opus. The structure was inflatable, akin to a massive bounce house, and once inside, guests were confronted with a labyrinth of brightly colored walls and cells, twisting and turning into some sort of surreal maze that patrons were told to lose themselves in. This piece of art premiered back in 2004, and due to its inflatability, it was actually built to travel, making stops in major cities in the UK, before it was eventually set up at Riverside Park in Durham on the 22nd of June, 2006. The very next day, 68-year-old Elizabeth Collins would visit the area with her husband and her daughter, as well as her 14-year-old grandson. And spotting this unusual structure in the distance, Elizabeth's grandson insisted on checking it out, excitedly taking off his shoes and running inside. And while the rest of the group was more apprehensive about entering, Elizabeth eventually decided to accompany him, leaving her husband and daughter on the outside, though not before turning back to them and joking that she was going in to find peace and serenity. Outside, Elizabeth's husband and daughter sat at a nearby table and enjoyed a cup of tea whilst conversing about the events of the week, only for the man to turn his head and notice that Dreamspace was slightly moving, to which he excitedly said, "Oh, it's a ride, it's a ride. I wish I had gone on it." The daughter then turned her head to see the structure as it began to rise up off the ground, to which she chillingly responded, "It's not a ride."
What? Damn, that shit jumps. What, it's about to explode? The fuck about to happen? Yo, I feel I'm about to get jump scared. Oh, it's about to fall on the keys. What's happening? Yo, what's up? Yo! So just fell on all them little kids? Wait, what? Nigga, that shit just get up and leave? Bro, I deadass don't know what I just saw.
Dreamspace had snapped from its moorings and was blown into the air by a massive gust of wind. Agus just so happened to be standing at the entrance as it began to shift, and noticing what was happening, he grabbed on as he desperately tried to hold down his entire life's work, though clearly this was of no use.
Why the fuck would a nigga grab on while this shit is flying up to the skies? The nigga dumb?
And after being lifted in the air, his grip failed, sending him falling back to the ground below, where he lay staring up at his creation, that was now flying 30 feet above him.
Why would the nigga do that shit, man?
Inside, there were as many as 30 people who were now being thrashed around this giant inflatable structure in a scene that I truly can't even imagine. The claustrophobia of it, the dizzying colors, the screams, it's genuinely one of the most horrific scenarios I've ever heard. The inflatable structure was airborne for well over a minute, folding into itself before finally crashing back down into a parking lot, leaving behind what was described by witnesses as a field of bodies. Worst of all, the majority of those in attendance were families with small children, with one 7-year-old girl recounting her experience, saying, "It was very scary and people were screaming. I saw a lady clinging on and then falling out, and then she was lying on her back with people around her.
Damn.
I think she died." This
That'd be
lady was most
crazy.
likely 68-year-old Elizabeth Collins, who had been ejected from the structure when it was in the air, with her injuries being catastrophic and unsurvivable.
That's crazy.
Of all the others now sprawled throughout this field of grass, most were left injured but thankfully not in serious condition, though this wasn't the case for 38-year-old Claire from Edge, who had been inside during the accident with her 2 children, and despite her kids surviving, she was sadly not so lucky, with Claire and Elizabeth being the sole fatalities of the incident.
Shit, crazy.
The video is terrifying, and though it's easy to say that this could have been so much worse, considering how many people were in Dreamspace at the time, the consequences were still catastrophic, as it devastated 2 families, and likely left many others at the scene traumatized for life, especially the young children. But how could this have happened? Well, that day was particularly warm, which likely caused the air inside the structure to expand, causing a hot air balloon-like effect, which was then exacerbated by sudden strong gusts of wind, which eventually caused the structure to go airborne, as in the end, it just wasn't properly secured for the conditions. Soon after the incident, Maurice Agus was arrested for manslaughter, though he would ultimately only end up paying a small fine, as he vowed to never create a large work again. Just a few years later, in 2009, Maurice Agus would pass away, with his legacy forever being defined by this devastating footage.
Wow, this shit getting scary. This shit dead ass making me nervous. I'm watching this joint in broad daylight. This shit still getting me scared.
On October 2nd, 2006, police entered the home of 31-year-old Elaine Campione, where inside they found the woman speaking incoherently. Next to her was a VHS camera, depicting a series of disturbing events that had transpired within the home over the previous months and days, with the footage eventually finding its way onto YouTube.
Hi, Serena. It's August 8th, 2006. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
The tape starts with Elaine pointing her new camera at her daughter Serena. It was her 3rd birthday, and to celebrate, Elaine had left a brand new bike in the living room.
What is it?
Days later, the footage continues, showing Serena once again as Elaine asks,
How does Mama love you? Oh, I love you more than that. How much does Mama love you?
Elaine then shows her other daughter Sophia, who was just a baby, before turning the camera on herself and showing the kids how the device worked.
Hi. See how the camcorder works? Look. Look. Hi. Is that Mommy? Hi.
So far, the footage seems like nothing more than your standard family home videotape, and appears completely wholesome. Though with the next recording, the tone begins to shift, and things start to become slightly concerning.
This is a deplorable, horrible, messy, filthy apartment that supposedly my 2 children and I live in, and it's just a horrible, horrible mess.
Damn, nigga. Flaming your own house.
Diego Campione is totally in the wrong, and I hope he burns in hell for all his sins.
Damn.
The same as Leonardo.
Damn, what's so twisted this? This friendly ass family tape.
The camera her home, she begins joking about how they are living in deplorable conditions, before randomly calling out 2 men who she says she hopes burn in hell, all while her children are in the same room. She starts to grow more and more agitated.
All I wanted to do was take care of my 2 little girls and live happily ever after the 3 years of physical, emotional, and mental abuse that I
Oh,
endured.
I think what happened was, I don't know, maybe like one of them men was her husband, and they was abusing her, and they probably left her in a bad environment.
tremendously by Leonardo Campione, and in the past year from Anna and Diego Campione, the mental and emotional abuse.
Outright saying that she was abused by a man named Leonard Campione, who happened to be her ex-husband and the father of these children. And she goes on from there, with each moment clearly making the kids more and more anxious.
And I want justice to my family for what they involved them to.
Right. Like, you could say this on, like, a different area besides where your kids at. Like, these little ass
I
toddlers.
cried out for help. They should have charged him for the assaults he did to me.
Eventually causing Elaine to snap out of it and stop the camera.
And my poor 3-year-old, I did everything to protect. And what are you saying, Sophia? What do you want?
Why the fuck that shit jump scare me, bro?
The video then skips forward once more, with this footage being taken just days before the police were called, showing Serena coloring on the floor as Elaine asks,
Who loves you? Mommy. Who loves you the most? That much? Oh, I think I love you more than that.
The scene that unfolds next was recorded on that very same night,
It's
just
gonna be
hours
something
later.
bad. It's gonna be something bad, bro. I don't know why, bro. I feel like this shit about to jump scare me, bro. Like, in that video where nigga was in his house, bro, when that shit exploded, bro, that shit dead ass scared me. Fuck about to happen. Oh yeah, this dog definitely about to be a jump scare.
Recording this because Leo and hanging happy. Everything is gone.
Well, I think she like.
You wouldn't give peace. You wouldn't tell the truth. You didn't care about our baby. You didn't care about me. You cared
What
about
the
yourself.
fuck?
All you did was hurt us.
In the video, Elaine states that everything is gone, as she speaks to Leo directly, accusing him of having ruined their lives with his constant abuse.
You are truly the devil. I hate you. 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 And I want you to know how much I hate you.
Disturbingly, the children were nowhere to be seen in this footage,
Did the
with
kids
Elaine
like,
eventually addressing them by saying,
bruh, did the kids like get like, did she do something to the kids? Like, did she lose custody? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, maybe.
God believes me. And God's taking care of us now. He's protected by God. Thank God. Thank you.
Wait, what? They died?
He's protected by God.
They died?
Thank you. Because there's no way I could have it with you. Nothing's good enough for you. It has to always be your way. Well, they're good. And you can have it your way. Your wife and your daughters are dead now.
What the
We're all
fuck?
in heaven.
What? So you telling me she murked the kids, then she did it to herself? What the fuck?
according to Elaine, not only were her children gone,
So I
but
think this her like, you know, like tape, like saying what she about to do. Like, she murked the children, she about to do it to herself.
She stops the recording soon after. Despite saying this, the camera would actually start up one more time, where Elaine describes how she was still alive, despite having attempted to OD, which prompted her to call the police. When officers arrived at the home, both Serena and Sophia were found laying in her mother's bed, holding hands, and wrapped tightly in rosaries. Neither of them were alive.
What the fuck?
2 nights prior, and directly before filming this message, Elaine had brought them both into the bathroom, as it was time for their nightly baths. And once in the tub, she told them to play a game, one where they would place their heads beneath the water and blow out bubbles.
Oh,
When they did this,
no.
Elaine held their heads down,
Oh,
and she didn't let go until
no.
she was certain they were gone.
Oh, what?
This footage is some of the most disturbing that I've ever seen, as we get a glimpse into Elaine's descent into madness, in the moments directly before she stole her children's lives. But all of this leaves one obvious question. Why? Well, it was noted during her investigation that the abuse she alleged from her ex-husband Leo seemed to be very real and well documented over the years, leading to Leo not being able to see his children for over a year, with this causing the two to separate, which is when Elaine's mind began to deteriorate. She began believing that people were following her and were going to kill her, with this fear of people eventually shifting to a fear of aliens, as she claimed to have seen them on numerous occasions, believing they were following her. Because of this fear, she refused to let her children out of her sight, not even allowing her own parents to look after them, causing her to become so attached to these children that she genuinely began to believe that they were all one entity, which made things incredibly concerning when she became
So she got
suicidal
scared that they was like,
eventually
the
attempted
kids
to
were
take
after
her own life. Despite Leo's more than troubled history, he had supposedly turned his life around in the years leading to this footage, and was eventually allowed to start visiting the children on a limited capacity. And seeing the children and seeing the way their mother was behaving, he began to grow incredibly concerned, and eventually attempted to gain full custody. And it was this bitter custody battle that seemed to be the ultimate factor that led to Elaine ending the lives of her children.
God's taking care of us now. He's protected by God. Thank God. Thank you. Because there's no way I could have this with you.
Elaine Campione would be charged with 2 counts of murder and would eventually...
What, nigga? I thought she died? I think she just I think they just talking about the children. I thought they were talking about they died and then like they drowned. I mean, what am I saying? I thought she was talking about she drowned the kids and then from when they found her in the bathroom, like I mean in that room with the rosaries and shit, and then she OD'd herself. That's what I thought happened.
Apparently she's still there. With a possibility of parole after 25 years. Today she's held in a minimum security prison where she's free to leave once every weekend to attend church and other functions.
Nigga, she should not be at any function at all. This is not okay. Alright, bro. What we getting now? Bro rage.
On April 18, 2010, a 39-year-old man named Gavin Collins was released from the HMP Ranby prison in the UK. His freedom would last less than 24 hours, as the very next day he suffered a severe mental breakdown.
How you crash the same day you get out prison?
The result of which was captured partially across several video recordings that later appeared on YouTube. This is the story of...
Oh, I seen this shit with the nigga, the bald nigga, what's it called? He was, the nigga was speeding hella fast, but it was just driving through. But you all gonna see, bro.
It began at approximately 9 a.m. in the city of Nottinghamshire when Gavin left his home. As he walked down the sidewalk, those in the area reported him acting strangely, muttering to himself that he was Jesus and that he was invincible. Without warning, he then turned his attention to a random home, which he forcefully entered, stole a man's car keys, and took his vehicle, taking off with no apparent destination. Inside the car, the owner just so happened to have 2 cameras, one being a standard dash cam facing inside the vehicle, giving us a look at Gavin and his apparent mental state.
Yeah, I know. I remember this shit. Yeah, see? Look how fast he going! Look, like y'all see the way everything passing by this quick?
Come on, let's go, bro. Talking middle on a clap is. Let's go! Let's go!
Just at a glance, it's obvious that Gavin is completely unhinged. For some reason, he was utterly filled with rage, ripping off the rearview mirror and yelling obscenities and incomprehensible threats at no one in particular.
I'm enraged! I'm Jesus! I'm descendant of God! And you love me up! Watch this!
Crazy.
And most concerning of all is the speed in which he's traveling, as he starts driving faster and faster, swerving in and out of cars as he passes through busy residential areas, as he reaches speeds that have been estimated to be anywhere from 85 miles an hour to well over 120.
This shit is not 85 miles per hour. Look how fast he's going!
But somehow, despite countless close calls, every time he avoids collision, at least for the time being.
And then I'm pretty sure this is why he crashed it. Yo, I don't think YouTube gonna show this, John? Yeah. Oh my god.
In an instant, Gavin smashes the vehicle into a brick home at full speed.
Brick home at
with
full
the impact
speed.
being devastating. And yet somehow,
and the nigga survived her.
Not only still alive, but completely unharmed, and also completely unfazed. He pulled himself from the wreckage and immediately turned his attention to a woman driving nearby, and within moments he had forced his way into the vehicle and was behind the wheel once again, continuing this deranged driving spree, until once again he crashed. And much like the initial collision, he survived, walking away unscathed before turning his attention to another random home. In pursuit of stealing his third vehicle, he grabbed a nearby concrete slab and began to smash through the home's doors, bloodying his hand in the process, before eventually making entry.
Yo, why did they let this nigga out jail?
Inside were a mother and her 2 children, one of which was 5 years old, and the other wasn't even a year. Gavin approached the terrified family, yelling and demanding that the mother give up her car keys, telling her that he was Jesus, and that, because I am Jesus, I will kill you if you don't give me the keys. And without hesitation, she did as he said. Gavin then went to each member of the family, and with his injured hand, he drew crosses on their forehead, out of his own blood.
Oh no, that's some evil shit, bro. You ain't even
before taking off with his third stolen car.
That's some evil shit, nigga. I don't give a fuck who you is. If a nigga try touching my kids talking about they was Jesus, bro, they ass getting messed up. That's some blasphemy shit.
Once again, Gavin was driving manically, though this time he was even more reckless, crashing into a brick wall and then a cop car, before setting his sights on a pedestrian. While speeding through a neighborhood, Gavin would see a man standing innocently near a bus stop, and for whatever reason, the sight of this man enraged him, causing Gavin to slam on the brakes and reverse the vehicle, stepping on the gas as hard as he could, and crashing directly into him, leaving him lying there with devastating injuries.
I deadass thought, and the crazy shit is, I deadass thought this shit ended at when he the first time he crashed into that brick house, bro. I thought as soon as he crashed into that brick house, the police like arrested him or something. This nigga still
Gavin
going.
quickly exited the vehicle and found the man lying motionless on the ground, prompting him to shout, "I've killed him. I've killed the devil."
What?
Minutes later, Gavin would crash yet another car into yet another home, though this time the police weren't far behind.
This way. Okay, Mom. Oh, no!
Finally bringing his disturbed driving spree to an end. The man that Gavin had struck was 87-year-old Terry Radford, a retired teacher whose injuries were catastrophic, with the man passing away soon after. According to his family, Terry was an incredible grandfather, father, and son. The footage is genuinely horrifying, but what's most shocking of all is the fact that any of this was even allowed to happen. As stated previously, this was Gavin's very first day out of prison, and based on the behavior
and what he go to jail for
in prison, he really should have never been released. Gavin was granted an early release in March of 2019 for charges based around burglary, but just as he was set to be freed, it was discovered that he had submitted an adulterate drug test, which caused his case to be re-examined and resulted in his release being postponed. In response, Gavin lost his mind. Later that month, he assaulted a prison guard before spraying him with an unknown liquid that contained bleach, before proceeding to set his cell on fire and attacking another officer with a piece of wood.
What the fuck? This nigga was a supervillain. Why did they let this nigga out?
Gavin was placed.
Niggas will do smaller shit than this and get fucking
into an isolated
high-ass
cell,
sentences.
where less than a week later, he started yet another fire. And when an officer entered his cell to put it out, Gavin struck them in the head and pulled out a plastic knife, threatening to slash him, stating that it would be a thrill to kill him.
What?
Gavin stayed
and
in
they
prison
still let the
really
nigga out for
rehabilitated
what?
him. In fact, it seemed to have made him more violent than ever before, and more mentally disturbed. Though shockingly, despite all of these additional crimes, Collins' release would go on to be approved less than 2 weeks later.
Who approved this nigga's release?
18th, and within just 24 hours, Terry Radford would be brutally killed. Gavin was sentenced to 21 years in prison, and during his trial it was revealed that no drugs were found in his system.
They're lying.
Instead, this all seemed to be the result of some sort of psychotic episode.
Nigga, they lying, nigga. That nigga either got possessed
or captured on camera in one of YouTube's darkest videos.
Yo, that video was crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. That shit got me scared, bro. That shit... Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like I saw watching this shit in the morning, bro, and this shit still got me scared, bro. What the fuck, bro? This shit is wild. It's really crazy. These niggas just casually walking free, like, and this shit happen anywhere too. Niggas casually walking free doing crazy shit like this, bro. Anyways, y'all, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if y'all want more videos like this. And I'm gonna see y'all later, and peace.